Hey, you guys. Welcome to welcome to Good Friday. And I just wanted to hop on this morning. I've been on another call where I get to hang out with like 20-ish amazing, beautiful souls, mostly women. And this morning was reminded that it's Good Friday. It's Good Friday, which also can bring a lot of sadness to some people, especially those who follow a Christ story. Um, And so I just want to hop on and really quickly and share a few of the thoughts that ran through my head as we celebrated at the end of our call Good Friday. Um, so whether or not you follow the Christ story, to this weekend is Easter, and it's a celebration of the death and the life of Christ. And I was thinking about this because I know that I've heard a few people say that there's a lot of sadness today. You guys, I got that sunshine there, and I'm actually just gonna leave it because it feels so good, and I'm just gonna leave it. No excuses. It's real. It's what the B part of today is. Um, but going back, I've talked to a few people who experience a lot of sadness on this day, and knowing that the person and the energy and the entity that they worship was crucified, was put to death on this day, and it brings a lot of sadness. And I want to honor that. I want to honor that. Um, that's a very big deal. And for those who were there, I can't even imagine what that experience would have been like. Um, and for those of us who worship that, or who understand that, or celebrate that, or follow that story, it's a big deal. And so just take a moment to honor that. And then on the other side, bring in a celebration of that, because this person called Jesus Christ, who is this amazing energy, and whether or not you believe he walked the face of this planet or he's just a story, either way, it's an amazing energy, and that's what I want to focus on today is that story or that person. Me personally, I believe in the person. I believe in what he taught and what he taught us, just as I believe in other spiritual and ascended masters. Um, he taught us about an energy, and an energy that vibes higher than what this planet currently vibes at. That what it, he taught us how to be really connected to source, to be connected to the source that he was connected to. And I I could geek out on this all kinds of ways, but I really want to keep this one short and just say, as you're celebrating this weekend, um, and I want to take it beyond the Christ story to a more personal aspect of this. And that's, we've been shown the way to have a higher vibe and higher energy. And it came again this weekend through the person or the energy of Christ and his story. And if you guys are familiar with David Hawkins, in his book Power versus Force, he talks a lot about this consciousness, this energy that all of us have. Some of us are aware of it, most of us are not. We believe in the solidity of things, like this thing is solid, or this thing is solid, or this thing is solid. And the awesomeness of it is none of it solid. It's just a matter of how it vibrates and how it shows up in our existence. And when we talk about this energy in his book, Hawkins wrote, he has a thing called a map of consciousness, and it's all these different energy levels, and how the where they vibrate. So like the lowest one in his book is 20, which vibrates at shame. The next one right above it is guilt, vibrates at 30. Do you guys know that most of the planet, 85%, at least when this book was written in 1995, the energy is probably raising at this point, especially given all of the crazy stuff that's going on, this crazy battle between um, evil forces and good forces, and you're experiencing it. I know you're experiencing it. We just had Scott McKay on here on Wednesday, and we talked about all the crazy stuff that's going on the planet, which is why I wanted to be on here today to say, you know, most of the planet, 85%. Maybe let's fudge and give it, 80% now, because we're going to trust that maybe more consciousness has raised, vibrates under a level of 200. Now, 200 is a level of courage. It's that place where you start having like, okay, maybe I could step a little more into myself, or maybe I could trust in that. And below courage are things like pride, anger, desire, fear, grief, apathy, all those just icky feeling things. And this is the really cool piece, is that let me turn to another page here. Um, is that when you personally start to really get in touch with what this consciousness, this energy is for you, check this out. Like, we actually, by raising our own energy, can help raise the vibe of the entire planet, whether we know it or not, because we're tied in. There's a Esther Hicks says, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and we start connecting to this energy and this vibe. Check this out. When you raise your energy, um, one individual at 300. So if you raise your energy from 200 to 300, 300 is actually, um, well, 310 is willingness. So if you raise your vibe, you're willing to raise your vibe, you're in that space, you can counterbalance 90,000 individuals who are below 200. 90,000. Can you imagine what would happen when 90,000 people have have their vibe counterbalanced, and they start feeling this sense of like, oh, maybe there's something different. One person, you at a level of 400 can counterbalance 40, 400,000 people below 200. If you're at 500, you can counterbalance 750,000 individuals. Again, this is on page 282 of Power versus Force. If you're at 600, you can counterbalance, get this. Remember, the last one was 750,000 individuals. At 600, you can counterbalance 10 million, 10 million people below 200. And if you're at 700, then you can counterbalance 70 million. At the time this book was written, it says that there were only 12 people who were at a level of 700 or more. How crazy is that? So I want to take this to an even more personal level. Like, how can you raise your energy? How can you? So in all of this stuff that I'm going to start bringing to you, by way of what Scott talked about the other day, and other people that I'm going to bring on, stuff that I've been studying and really going down some rabbit holes in, is what can I do as an individual, and what can I do to help you as an individual to be in a happy, healthy space on the planet at this time when there's so much craziness going on, and it can feel really horrible, and it can feel hopeless, and it can feel demeaning, and it can feel like, how are we ever going to make a difference and get out of this mess that we're in? But at the same time, just like the crucifixion, it's it's absolutely beautiful, because we know through the Christ story that what happens after the crucifixion? Life. Life happens after the crucifixion, and we've been shown the way. And so how can we, as just individuals, on an everyday, just going about everyday life, how can we make a difference? We start with us. And one simple way that you can do this, and this is one thing that if you're working with me, I am freaking excited to help you do this, because I want to help you be strong mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. It's something I've been working on for years. I've been working on myself that way for years. And this is how I intend to help you as I share this information. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to start One, with just recognizing that there is a consciousness, that there is an energy, that we are all connected in ways that most of us have no idea or clue about. But one way you can start helping yourself is through nutrition. The power of nutrition. Our food holds an energy, it holds a consciousness. And when we start being intentional and mindful about the things that we put in our body, we can raise our energy. It's a really simple way to start raising the energy. So if you're vibing down at the shame and guilt, which is like pretty much death, simply by taking the time to eat healthy foods, which are going to provide you with nutritious vitamins and minerals. I know it sounds simple, and it really is simple. Our country has and I'm hoping to bring someone on who's we're going to talk about this. Clear back when the Rockefellers, they're the lovely crime family of the Rockefellers, like they started hiding the real facts and the energy of good, wholesome, natural food and the vitamins and minerals that come through it. And why did they do this? Because they couldn't monetize it. They couldn't patent it. And so this industry or this section of energy and wellness has been pushed down and pushed down and pushed down. And I'm here to help bring it back alive with all the other hundreds, probably thousands of people wanting to do the same thing. So, how can you raise your energy? Food, through your food. I'm not asking you to go out and make an entire like food life change. Just start little. Start little. Um, Let me see if so if there's this thing called muscle testing, kinesiology. If you knew how to do it, and maybe that's something we can talk about. We'll bring someone on who knows how to do that. Uh, you can test the food, and your body will actually respond to it. It's super cool. But I'm also going to say this: even if you don't know how to do this, and you don't know how to do the muscle testing, if you just pause for a moment and you put an apple in your hand or you put a cheeseburger in your hand. I know there's two really like opposite ends of the scale, and I did it intentionally. Hold one in your hand and just see how you feel. Just get quiet for a moment. Notice if your body rocks. Which way does it rock? If you hold that cheeseburger in your hand, what's going to happen? What do you feel? What do you experience? I'm telling you, when you start bringing the goodness, and I'm not saying you don't ever have a cheeseburger in your life. I have cheeseburgers, but it's about bringing in more of the good things, the foods that are wholesome, um, and providing those natural vitamins and minerals. Let me see if I can find this spot. It just talks about in here when he's talking about wholesome foods, just how when we bring these things, disorders reverse, or they don't even happen at all. Um, this one right here, compassion. Okay, once we really understand the human condition, we'll feel compassion where we once might have felt condemnation. So recognizing that we're human, and part of being human is we get to have all of these things that we bump up against, the unknowing, the being asleep, and the opportunity to wake up to the energy and to start learning how to raise it. Do you know that most people in their entire lives will only raise their energy 5, maybe 10 points because it takes some effort? And I'm asking you to join into the effort part of your life, to join this revolution where you learn how to re-be who you already are, um, and overcome the cultural conditioning that's been placed on you or that you've bought into, and to choose something different. So then it says this: compassion is one of the highest of all the energy attractor power patterns. As we shall see, our capacity to understand, forgive, and accept is directly linked to our personal health. Okay, I'm going to read that one more time. Compassion is one of the highest of all our energy attractor power patterns. As we shall see, our capacity to understand, forgive, and accept is directly linked to our personal health. So that's where I'm going to leave it today, is Where are you vibing? Where are you hanging out? Are you hanging out in energy that is pulling you down, that's degrading, or are you hanging in energy that's rebuilding, renewing, and restoring who you are? And just notice without judgment. Just say, "Holy cow, this is where I'm at." And I'll tell you, lately, the last few months, I have slipped back down into a pattern that feels less than 200 or 200 or and it hasn't felt very good. But I always know that I vibe higher and that I can vibe higher. And I started to notice like what have I slipped on? Nutrition. Nutrition was probably one of the biggest ones. And then remembering the power source, the energy source by which I get all my energy and empowerment, and learning how to reconnect with that and trusting that in all of the crazy sauce that's going on right now. So that's my invitation to you today is to just notice, where do you think you're vibing? How does it feel? How does life feel for you? How do you feel in your body? How do you feel in your heart? How do you feel in your mind? How do you feel in your gut? Just get quiet with that. Maybe take some notes somewhere. This is where I think I'm vibing. And ask, am I willing to do something different? And if you are, a simple way is to just start with your food. Go get yourself a piece of fruit. Get yourself some vegetables, some things that have a higher energy and will bring you the vitamins and nutrients that you need to, what did it say? I'll read it one more time. To help with your capacity to understand, to forgive, and accept. Wow. And it all starts with food. Food is our medicine. Food is our power source. So as you move forward in celebrating this Easter weekend, and you really look deeper into what that story is, celebrate with some good food. You notice there was a last supper. There was a last supper and it was high vibe. It was stuff that brought them nutrition. It brought them connection to each other, and it brought them connection to source. So connect with you today or this weekend. Eat some good food and just notice how you feel. Actually pause and notice how you feel, and then connect with source, the energy that restores and revives us all and gives us that amazing creative power that we are born with. That's our birthright, to go out and create the life that you want to create, the life that you want to live. And you guys, it takes a little bit of a rebellious soul to do that. So one of the things I love about the Christ story and the person that is Christ is he seriously was one of the biggest rebels I know and that I follow. So I'm inviting you to do the same. Be a rebel. Go against the the patterns that you've been following for however long you've been following them. Maybe you need to go against some of the things that you've been taught or some of the beliefs that you hold. Start checking them out and rebel against them in good ways, starting with your food. All right, you guys, that's it for now. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for sharing time with me, Jennifer Saunders, the Righteous Rebel. And I'll look forward to talking to you again soon and bringing you more amazing guests that we're going to talk about this stuff in way deeper depths. All right, be bold, be brave, be a rebel. We'll see you soon.